worked in a national office, and we have as a national organization, we were founded all the way back in 1996, but we also have 60 local groups throughout the country. One of the important things that we see is the importance of having a broad inclusion. We have not limited the membership in our organization, but we have both Baha'is, Buddhists, Christians, Islam, Jews, Hindus, holists, humanists, and Sikhs in our organization. And this gives us a completely different impact when we can say that we represent such a width. We've also been important for us to include some of the minorities, such as Ahmadiyya, the Latter-day Saints, and the Christian community. We like to look at ourselves as a grassroots organization. And one of the important things was that the initiative to start STL came from the religious groups themselves. It was the religious leaders in Norway that got together and decided that we needed to have a common body, an NGO that could represent all of us. The initiative did not come from the authorities. However, once we were started and got going, we've become a very important partner for the government and for other public agencies. Because we have such a width in our membership, we can also say that we are, in a way, the official collective voice of all the religious groups and lifestyle communities in Norway.
Thank you. As Alastair said, told that this faith association at the national level works not only with dialogue but also making pressure. And actually, this was the starting point. In 1996, it started a process regarding talks with government for a subject which was Christianity, teaching in school, where some non-Christian communities had some issues. And that started a cooperation. So it was actually started with building a pressure together against the government. Then it became more and more dialogue, and we in Kristiansand started with dialogue. We did not have any issue with anything. One wise lady, she inspired by STL, the Faith Association in Oslo, said that we are many faith communities in Kristiansand. We need leaders to talk together. And in 2007, 6 communities, both churches, Muslim and Life View organization, we came together, and the meaning was dialogue. And as we have been talking yesterday, and this is the most important tool to get to harmony, to solve the differences. And today we are for 16 different organizations, many Christians, Baha'i, Muslims, Buddhist organization, and the best achievement which I found, I have been living in Kristiansand from 2000. The first time I knew only the chief priest in main church, and when we established our local faith association, then I came to know that we have so many different, and then we got a connection with each other, relation. We became familiar with each other. and real communication and talk with the leaders from different faith groups started. And if this had not been established, maybe another 10 years have passed without any knowing each other. So this type of faith association is very essential for the harmony and the peace and to take the challenges together.
So we use dialogue as our methodology. We look at dialogue as a way that we want to have mutual respect and understanding, but it's not a goal for us to agree. One of the things we have is we work with consensus. Consensus is not the same as unanimity, but we work together to try to find what is the common ground that we have. We work in what we call councils. We have one at the national level, we have them locally. We become representatives from each of our member organizations. And it's really important for us that we have equal representation. The Church of Norway, which has 2 or 3 Norwegians as a member, have the same number of people represented on these councils as the Jews, which count just under 1,000 people. And then there are a lot of things that we cannot achieve consensus around, and that's fine. We may still discuss them, we may have dialogue around them, but if we don't reach a consensus, that means we don't go out, we don't have an opinion about it, and we may not comment on policy issues concerning that issue.
So let us say we want to issue a common statement, and if all the 16 members, if one does not agree with the statement, we can't issue it. So we are still there that we shall have a consensus. Trust. This is the main achievement and goal. The goal is to establish dialogue and trust and respect for each other's life view and religious view and beliefs. And through gatherings, through communication, dialogue, conversations, we build trust to each other. We come closer to each other. When hard things come, then we can cooperate with each other. We can contact with each other. Locally, we have demonstrated, because the first Quran burning was here in Kristiansand in Norway. And at that time, the whole forum for faith, our forum, came together to show solidarity, to show support. After these attacks in New Zealand, the very next Friday, first Friday, they came with signboards, "Be safe in your prayer." So both the goal and the best achievement is actually to build trust between faith groups.
We also work with political issues, not any type of political issue. We work with issues that are directly related to religious policy. Among other things, in Norway, there's a strong public support, financial support to religious groups. That's a typical type of policy we work with. Sometimes we work on the common interests of all the members, and sometimes we work on particular interests that only really pertain to some of our members. So typical areas that we work with are national action plans, social ethical questions, we work with equality, integration, burial, and preparedness. So we have 16 local groups throughout the country. These are independent organizations, but we work together here. And we've gathered our local group here at this conference to participate here today, and then we're going to have our own gathering tomorrow.
I shall point out that from the very beginning, from 2007, we had a good cooperation with the Oslo-based National Faith Group, STL, and this relationship have been growing because we locally do not take political issues, but there are things which we need to have a dialogue with politicians, policies, which are regarding the faith groups, all from sport and how the policies could be in school, and then we this year we decided that we will change our name is FTL, Forum for Faith and Life View, and we will change to this corporation as STL Kristiansand. We will be a part of, more visible part of our main association, faith group. And this is because we know that now the government, the politicians, they recognize the work, the pressure, the cooperation which the main association has done, and to be a more integral part of that. And we still work independently. Each local group has its own committee, own decisions. It is just to get knowledge, to get experience that we share. So it is a win-win situation for both the main group, Oslo-based national group, and the locals.
Thank you. That was the last slide.
If there are any questions, you may ask.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, there's one question.
I was going to clap.
Oh,
Yeah.
how about behind you?
Oh, sorry.
When in the beginning stage, when setting up this common dialogue, let's say between different communities.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We just
Yeah. In
if you hold it there.
Hold it. Okay. So in is that
Can
clear?
we get the sound on? Yeah, now.
So in the beginning, when you set up the dialogue between different communities, maybe there, I assume, might have been some friction between some of them. Maybe how would you deal with such a challenge, or how did you manage to deal with it? Like, what would you focus on, or anything that could help that to bring people together?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We once had a big meeting here, and we invited the earlier Prime Minister of Norway, and the media, the journalists wrote that this group is very concentrated on the issues which they can have a nice talk, but when it comes to confrontation, they avoid it. So we said that in the beginning it is important for us to come closer, to avoid confrontation, get to know each other better. When we have built this trust and relation and good dialogue, and we know each other, then we can take any issues of differences, and we do that. And we have a committee, then we have a group of leaders where we take these discussions, what is going on in society, how we shall tackle that, and we do confront with each other in a nice and good manner. And I think this is the best achievement because you need to have a relation before you can take the hard issues, if you will avoid confrontation. So we do that in a nice way. Last will
Yeah, just
Yes.
what
Okay.
the gentleman behind there was first.
Thank you. I think it is important to emphasize, and I hope that it goes for the local STL branches as well, that the work is based on human rights, of course, freedom of religion, which means that you don't have to agree with each other, but respect for each other's rights.
That's
To practice religion is the basis. I would like to add to what Akmal said in the beginning, because nothing unites so much as a common enemy. The minorities in Norway saw the state as an enemy when they introduced a new Christian curriculum in the schools in the late 1990s. And we went to court. We took the state to court. And eventually, the Norwegian Humanist Association won, and we won on behalf of all the minorities, but we had to go abroad. We had to go to Strasbourg in order to win, and the UN committee guarding the Convention on Civil Political Rights. So that was in many ways the beginnings, but there were roots, older roots for the dialogue. And that had included, and which is unique in the European and global context actually, had included the secular humanists in that dialogue. And the importance of this cooperation we saw in 2006 with the cartoon crisis, because we knew each other, because we had come to know what we are fighting for as well as against. We were able to handle the cartoon crisis of 2006 better than in Denmark, and I think we are better equipped to face Quran burnings in Norway than they are in Denmark and Sweden today. And that is thanks to, not in a little degree, the STL. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rob.
Yes, thank you very much. Can you hear me? Or should I
Don't
just-
press, just talk
I'll
and
just
the
talk,
sound
yeah.
will come on.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Actually, in Denmark, we banned the Quran burning, so now it's not allowed to burn the Quran in Denmark any longer.
You
But
did the better job, yeah.
yeah, depends who you talk to. But my question is basically regarding the smaller minority communities. How have they felt to be included in this joint venture? What has their response been to be a part of this faith association?
Actually, it has been a big uplift for them. I would say that we have groups which have, for example, in our city, even in our district, only 50-60 members, but they have equal representation. And when they join it, and when they come on the discussions and meetings and seminars, they feel it uplifted and seen and included. So actually, yeah.
One of the challenges many small faith groups have is that they don't have the manpower to do their own, if you want, public policy. And only the biggest churches, the Humanist Association, maybe the Muslims, have that ability to do it themselves. So the smaller groups are often disproportionately dependent on STL to take a lot of their issues and present them for politicians and do policy work about them.
If there is one question there.
That will be the last one. I'm sorry, because we just have a schedule to hold.
Yes, thank you. Just in addition to the previous question, interfaith dialogue is very important, but sometimes I feel like we need intra-faith dialogue maybe even more. In many mosques we will find dialogues between Muslims and Jews and Christians, but I will say, almost never find dialogue between Shia, Ahmadi and Sunni. because those are the real enemies for them. So is there any platform or any way we can also have the same kind of dialogue within our religions and try to also make it more normalized to our people, that we can also have a dialogue within the differences in our own communities?
Thank you for putting this up. Actually, we Muslim leaders can learn a lot from this work of different faith associations, that how we internally should cooperate with each other. We have actually not having any problem in our city locally, and we have a small forum for Muslim organizations or faith mosques in the Kristiansand, and also we have Muslim Council for all the mosques in our Agder county. But we can learn a lot from this work and apply there. We do, our Muslims from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, with our cultures and practices, and we can have more cooperation. Luckily, we do not have any issues here locally.
Thank you, Alistair and Akmal. I'm very proud to be part of this and to work with you too. Thank you.